Good day, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Michael Daniels, and I'm honored to be here at this summit to actually share some of the experiences we've had at Standard Bank. And what we'll be focusing on today is account opening and the results we've achieved on account opening, why we selected WorkFusion as our great partner in this journey, and how we're expanding and scaling in our business. I've been with Standard Bank, and currently I head up Standard Bank's automation journey. And I'm also responsible for running a large portfolio of the operations. And this gives me a good lens in what's required also for automation. So why do we start with automating, and why did we focus on account opening? Account opening is at the heart of the customer experience. It's sometimes the first thing that the customer experiences. And some of the benefits we found from starting with account opening use cases is it enhances the client experience. It improves the turnaround time, which is critical in a competitive environment. We streamline our processes, and in this way increase the capacity required to grow in growing markets. We decrease significant amount of manual errors, and in a highly regulated environment like banking, it's important to have accurate data, and enhancing our due diligence and our regulatory compliance. And we've actually seen this come in most of our automations. And if I delve deeper into the account opening processes, I'll go through 4 use cases, and it will highlight the different aspects of how we've used WorkFusion in our account opening process. And the first one I'd like to speak about is third-party fund administration. And these are typically accounts opened by attorneys, accountants, liquidator stockbrokers, and other financial accounting institutions. And they have to create accounts on behalf of a third party to deal with a transfer of funds and payments. And the requirement here is to open a multitude of accounts. So one attorney will open 100 or 200 accounts. And this was a really tedious and laborious process. And what we now have is that the consultant, and how we've dealt with this is there were many staff just involved in this, and it was a routine and laborious process. Today, the consultant will log into the WorkFusion workspace. They'll trigger a bot, and data is pushed into different data stores. A bot, the process will access data and logs on our core system, and they'll perform a whole range of tasks from opening the trust account to performing the sales process for the new third-party account, to creating the account on our backend system, and sending notifications to the originator of the request. And the third-party account opening process has been in play for the last 18 months, since October 2018. And we've seen significant number of accounts being opened. When we actually did a version upgrade, this process was down, and we had many staff concerned, and we actually had complaints from our attorneys. And when this process was up again, all that was resolved. And we now enabled it at a straight-through process of 59%, which has, in essence, created 60% of capacity in this environment with no errors and pleased clients. If we then go into the next one, and this is an account opening process for mobile operators. So these are consultants who go into workplaces, they go onto universities and schools, and they open accounts for students and for blue-collar workers typically, or other workers in the working environment. And in the account opening process, there's certain documents you have to collect for KYC or for AML purposes. And in this process, the documents are, the consultant will use a mobile device, and they'll collect the data, and the data is immediately pushed to the WorkFusion data store, and the business processes then kick off from this, from indexing the documents and the images that come in, to creating a customer profile on our CRM system, to linking the documents to our document storage system, to creating an account on our core systems, updating certain history notes for audit purposes, and sending, once again, notifications to the customer. And once again, here we've had lots of success, and this process has been in for about 1 year now, and a straight-through process of about 65%. And for both the ones that I've mentioned, the current work we're doing with WorkFusion on machine learning will improve these STP processes. The third one is is vehicle and asset finance. It's installment sales. And here we used basic RPA, not that RPA is that basic, and some machine learning matching for better straight-through processing. And I just want to highlight some of the benefits. We automated many routine tasks, faster processing, and we used to have typical turnaround times of 5 days, and now we'll get 25% of the process of the account opening will be done within 5 minutes. We're integrating into third-party data sources, and there's an overall reduction of the cycle time, really improved client experience, and we've seen this in surveys that we do amongst our competitors with this dealer market who process where we get these applications from, and we have seen an uptick. And the RAND savings in dollars is about $820,000 a year, and this has been a significant benefit to the bank, a significant increased turnaround time and better quality of data that moves into our system. The last of these application processes is a personal loan fulfillment process. And these are third-party call center agents who will call on behalf of our bank, and they'll get agreement from the client to take the personal loan. And there used to be a process where they used to send the information into our space. We had to fulfill it in an operations environment, and then the client would get the loan disbursed in day 2. And sometimes, if we didn't get the right information, there'd be a back and forth with the third-party call center, and we take sometimes 5 days. And today, we have this process for one of our personal loans, and we're actually scaling it now for more of the other kinds of loans in the bank. And the turnaround time has reduced from 2 days to simply 2 minutes. And clients are totally flabbergasted. While they're on the conversation with the call center agent, they're already getting the loan disbursed into their accounts. This has been a very successful one, and we're actually scaling this into many of our Africa regions, other countries in Africa where they also do personal loans. And where did we start this journey with WorkFusion? And when did we start this journey of automation? And way back at the end of 2015, we knew that robotic automation and AI was going to be a great lever in the bank. And we identified some use cases. We did some POCs, and it was actually in account opening. We then realized we need to go on RFP and RFI to actually, with procurement, to go and source which would be the best vendors. And we then chose WorkFusion. And in that, we had to establish an architectural environment, an SIT environment, get the right skills on board with developers and specific AI developers. We had many Java developers, but we never had people who understood the AI developer and to work on the WorkFusion platform, deal with the risk, compliance, and security issues, and look at how we could automate testing. In the next year, yes, we started moving more use cases into production, managing our test environment. We also created a center of excellence. And in this, we created a head of intelligent automation on the technology side and a head of automation on the business side. We managed reporting, and we started our initial foray into machine learning and data planning. And we ran a pilot with WorkFusion in 2017. In 2018, we started scaling across our different environments, putting in guardrails, putting in standards, and more businesses were starting to come on board. We had to set up frameworks and methods, and this was typically important when we did a version upgrade. And now when we do a version upgrade, it's not a lengthy process. We've got the frameworks and the methods in place. We also kicked off a power user program, and this is really the digital citizens. And later I'll share on how many automations power users in the bank has generated. And we're now rolling across all business areas across the group. Last year, we started scaling, started looking at cognitive data analysts, chatbots, a machine learning framework. And here the bank has invested in Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services. And we're starting to look at machine learning pipelines in Azure, in Amazon Web Services, and with WorkFusion. And this year, our huge focus is to move most of our desktops into a virtual environment. We're moving WorkFusion into the cloud, looking at other cognitive services and virtual assistants. And why have we selected WorkFusion as a partner? At the time, WorkFusion, we were looking for someone with a trusted track record. Someone who was on a learning curve themselves and who we could learn with. Someone who had experience across client and industries. We didn't just want someone who worked in banking and who could offer us an integrated managed service, both the automation cloud with machine learning, a strong emphasis on data, RPA. Human in the loop was a critical determinant at the time because no process is ever 100% in the first MVP. Something that was cost effective. And we knew at the time to buy per bot, and way back in 2015, most of the RPA vendors were selling per bot, and WorkFusion was prepared to provide us with a platform and willing to co-create. And that was probably at the essence of it, the co-creation that WorkFusion offers us whenever we start a new delivery. And if we move beyond account opening, where are we going with the platform? And recent and the earlier presenter spoke from Forrester spoke about where are different clients on their journey. We have close to 275 bots in production. And we call it, we don't call it bots for all our processes. On the automation cloud, it's business processes. But when it comes to desktop automation with the power users, we speak about bots. And we've got close to 300 bots in production at the moment. And critical processes, critically linked, also linked to account opening, is sanctions and politically exposed. And this is where we've launched our recent bot. That's a sanctions bot, and it will do sanctions screening. And this has been launched in March last year, 2 years ago. And approximately 4,000 alerts have gone through this process with a 60% STP. And this is a batch, 4,100 batch processes. We're now also looking at real-time processes. In this next process, Bob card, we have to report a bill of payments. In South Africa, we have to report on any clients doing card transactions in other countries. And this is a process that was automated way back in 2017. And we've actually had feedback from a regulator that we produce the most accurate reports from all the banks, and we produce it in the most timely period. And we've had commendations from our regulator in terms of how we manage the reporting of bill of payment transactions on our card transactions. And we do it for both personal, and later in February 29, we did it for all our corporate cards and entities. One thing we are very proud of is our power user program, and we've now scaled it across Africa in our latest intake, 21 delegates, and it's from different. Liberty is an insurer, and CIB is a corporate client, human capital in our human resource processes. And we got it across, and we've got PUPs in this latest intake across the breadth of Africa, from Nigeria, Botswana, Ghana, And actually, at this time of lockdown, the value of these bots are amazing. And this program, at the Center of Excellence, we partnered with WorkFusion, and we recruit candidates, and they go through WorkFusion's Automation Academy, and we screen them through that process. We then enable them with training, which is sometimes basic lean principles, understanding data, and also the technical understanding of the WorkFusion platform. We provide them with coaches and mentors. They have to identify a use case and deploy it in production. And then they obviously accredited and certified through WorkFusion. And this is a very popular program and very sought after. And we have over 100 people in Standard Bank who have gone on this program. And at this very time, when we're even running this summit virtually, the automations that we run from home has been of immense value. And what were some of the requirements? We needed an operating environment where we could run automations from home to manage in this crisis, maintaining relevance for most of the automations that were delivering customer experiences. And we have a significant amount of payment bots. And just recently, as we, a bank that looks after our clients during this time, we are giving clients payment holidays and credit restructures. And the first thing that the organization asks for, can we automate it with bots, with bots? And we actually do that. And we do it sometimes over a weekend. To just, as a regulator, changes the environment. Over a weekend, a bot gets spun up to actually deliver automations from home. And there's challenges, there's system dependencies, and some of the benefits we have seen is improved productivity, a follow through on commitments. We still meet our stakeholder expectations. And on the next slide, typically what it's meant for Standard Bank South Africa. We can run through VP, we VP enabled to work from home. We can hand over to business areas after deployment quite easily. We have virtual workforce managers who work from home and they track the bots. Our processes are automatically triggered from home. And some bots obviously start on schedules. There's a close collaboration and escalation in the event of a process failure, and that's never really an automation. It's really a data run that never ran, or some of the common RPA failures that people are familiar with. A rigorous daily monitoring environment, and there's a daily stand-up that manages any escalations and any problems that appear. So what's next for Standard Bank, and what's next on our automation journeys? Yes, we will continue to identify automations on account opening, and this is where we will look at cognitive and other machine learning capabilities to further enhance our account opening processes. And these account opening processes will also be scaled across African countries. AML, we now have bots that continue to screen politically exposed or politically influenced individuals. I spoke about the sanctions. We look at sanctions, a real-time bot. Bots that do searches on media alerts and identify adverse information on parties of interest or individuals or corporates. And we'll continue to scale our Power User program. And we're working with WorkFusion on how we can take the Power User program fully online so that we can scale it into Africa and to continue to stay ahead on any of the automation efforts and looking at how we can integrate the work that we do with WorkFusion on the Microsoft Azure. And we've had some amazing automations using WorkFusion platform and Microsoft Azure in our environment. Thank you very much.